morning, and thank you for keeping it Citizen Television. Daybreak it is. We appreciate your time this Tuesday. Thank you for creating time for us as we begin our social hour, matters relationship, and just making you a better person in your social space. Each and every week we bring topics that just help you have a better understanding on how you can manage some of the issues that we experience in our relationships. And this Tuesday, we want to talk about something that I know some of you have heard about, but usually it becomes such a difficult task when it comes to the matter that we want to discuss. We want to talk about cheating, and we want to discuss whether this is something that you can actually forgive, and if you can forgive cheating, what's like sort of the new order? How are you supposed to move on from there? Is it even possible to have go back to normal after you've, forgiven your partner or spouse, on matters cheating? Those are some of the issues that we will be discussing on the show this particular morning. But first, we want to hear from you. Can you forgive a cheating partner or a cheating spouse? But allow me to introduce, I'm actually not introducing them. This is a panel that you already know. We usually here every Tuesday, just to give them a chance to also say a word of hello. QT, good to have you this morning.
Good morning,
How have you been? I'm good.
I've been great.
I'm
it's
grateful.
Just the weather that is, but we're doing great. We're hanging in there. Tunajikaza na El Nino, but tuko sawa. We are here. It's a great morning. Good to see you and good to see CJ too.
All right, good to have you. CJ, good to have you as well.
Thank you.
You're doing well?
Yes, I am. Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, sure. Last week we missed you here, but we are glad that you're with you today. Right. Roberta will not be joining us, unfortunately, but she's somewhere there just watching and following this show. Hopefully next week she will be with us. But either way, let's begin this conversation straight away. I mean, when we talk about cheating, people think it's something that kwanza wanasemanga kwa wanaume ni kawaida. I don't know whether it's true, but it depends on which school of thought you come from. But let's talk about this concept, cheating, and understand whether, it is something that a relationship or a marriage can recover from. I'll begin with you, QT, just to ask you from a personal space. Is it something that you can actually even think about forgiving?
Wow.
Tuanzie hapo.
Personally, Safin, I can't forgive cheating. Let me just say it. I've been there before, and it was really bad. So let me just say I can't forgive cheating, because I think forgiving cheating is actually tolerating disrespect. If you forgive cheating, then it means you're subscribing to something. It's the same way we subscribe to stuff online. If you decide to subscribe to something, it means you want to keep on seeing that thing. There are people that you subscribe to because you want notifications. You want those notifications to come to you when they upload a video, when they put up something. So if I'm subscribing to cheating, then it means every time that I want to, that thing will keep on happening with this person, and they will keep on disrespecting you. And cheating is a decision. It's a personal decision. I believe it's a personal decision, but people put cheating on other reasons. One will say, I grew up like this, I did not get this, I'm not getting attention from you, I don't know what's going on with you, you've been distant. People always point...
It's the devil.
It's the devil that came in between. So people are always pointing fingers and blaming the surroundings. Other factors like emotional, financial, and all that. But at the end of the day, cheating is a personal decision. I decide if I want to be faithful or not. I decide if I want to cheat on this person. And that reason, even if that someone will trigger that, but it's your personal decision, why not walk away, Safin? Why decide to hurt someone's feelings? Just walk away. If you feel like they're not giving you what you want, instead of sitting there and cheating on them, I think it's just best to walk away. So personally, I can never forgive cheating, because I see it as a sign of disrespect. And people will say, it didn't even mean anything. She doesn't even mean anything. I don't even love her. Then it means I didn't mean anything. That's why you went ahead and cheated on me. And cheating is a habit that starts as a joke. You might decide, and people say even flirting is cheating, actually. And those text messages that you're writing and deleting, it means that you're cheating, because cheating is also mental. It's in your head. When you start thinking other things, Safin, I'm not saying we should be perfect. I know we are human beings and we shouldn't be perfect. But when you start thinking about someone else and other things and doing other things other than with your partner, then to me that's cheating, and that's how it starts. And cheating is a habit, actually. It starts like that, and then you end up being with the other person, na wanasemanga hakuna kitu poa kama kitu ya kuiba. Kitu ya kuiba ndio inakuanga poa zaidi. Like ile yenye unasikia hii nayo, you know. So cheating to me is a no.
It's a no.
It's a no, and I'm not.
You kind of remind me, you take me back. I actually assumed that, you know, people know what cheating is, but let me not, you know, assume. And this is where you come in, CJ. She's touched on something that actually opens this up for a whole other debate, you know, flirting. I've heard people say there's financial cheating, there's what. So from where you sit, how do you define you know, what cheating is? You know, we think in a straight line and think it's a specific thing, but come to think of it, it's actually sort of like a breach of trust in some sort. And people have different versions of, what I define as cheating may be different from what she thinks is cheating. But from a general perspective, what would be that for you, CJ? I'm kind of putting you on the spot right now.
Yeah,
I know.
you have, because you've both defined and then undone your definition. But I think generally it is when somebody causes another person emotional hurt because they have chosen something outside of the initial agreement. So, for example, if I choose another partner and we were supposed to be in an exclusive relationship, the reason I talk about the initial agreement is that there are people who are in, and basically either their culture or their religion will allow polygamous situations. So when they start going out to get maybe a second person, it will not be deemed to be cheating because they'll say they want to get a second wife. It's part of their agreement, whether by assumption or it is something that they've intentionally done. But where we are in something that is exclusive, and that was our agreement, then I begin to get out of that and engage in a manner that will hurt the other person, then that could be deemed to be cheating. So it is an engagement that breaches the initial agreement that people had and ends up causing emotional hurt. Because if it doesn't cause that hurt, we would not be talking about the things that QT is talking about, where I cannot forgive if it's just mental. But then I think we have also, and as we grow in society, we keep on broadening spaces in things. So you'll now find that we talk about the emotional cheating. I'm hearing from you about the financial cheating.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know,
I would like to know how that works. And I think now the definitions will just keep on coming and coming. But generally then, even if you talk about something like the emotional cheating, what is it? It's just somebody will find that you're emotionally attached to somebody else who probably you cannot do without, or you're spending more time connecting with than themselves. So they feel breached because they thought they were supposed to be the person that you spend the most time with, talking with. So it's a fence that has been broken, a window that has been opened, and it's like there's somebody else inside, or information that is being held from the other person that they think is very important to them to have. Yeah.
So it is not necessarily, in respect of this show, it's not necessarily getting involved with someone, but it goes broader than just that. You know, it could be you're spending too much time with this person and you're supposed to be having an exclusive relationship with your partner. It is like, it's just broader than what people have defined cheating to be. That's why I wanted CJ to come in and expound on that. But then CJ, before we get to that point where somebody would find themselves, you know, giving that privilege that you're supposed to preserve for your partner or your spouse to somebody else. Does it happen by accident, or it's something that we see coming? It actually builds up to that point?
It doesn't happen by accident at all. Either the person who is doing that has the proclivity to do that, or they get triggered to do that. See, relationships are long journeys. quite a long journey. So basically, though, I would say the person has a proclivity to do that. But then it also depends on the journey that they have in their relationship. There will be times probably that maybe they begin to have breakdown in communication. They start having things like silent treatment. They start having things like dry spells or withholding information. This person is earning this money and is not talking about it. The other person is earning this money, not talking about it. Somebody begins to feel that they need to get into self-preservation, and so they also feel that they need to keep their money and not talk about it. So it's how they handle the changing seasons of life. Normally, when two people start, they start with hope, they start with a lot of passion, they start with expectation, they are hoping everything will turn out well. Mm-hmm. It's the changing circumstances that begin to bring out what is on the inside of these people. Mm-hmm. And if you know, for example, you met somebody who loves attention from the very beginning, then you know that where there will be attention deficiency, something is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's a choice also on the other person to make from the very beginning. Can I give you the attention that you want? Because if I'm not able to give that kind of attention, somewhere along the line when I'm not able to, then you will begin to seek attention somewhere else. So it takes two to tango, you know, but it is something that is there from the very beginning. The things that are going to cause it to happen are there from the very start. You either have somebody who has a lot of attention seeking, you have somebody who cannot stay without intimacy for too long, and so this is in them. It's not going to happen as you go. It is in them. If you have somebody given, for example, to just something generally as food, and then you get into a place where you begin starving, you don't have enough money for food and stuff, they will not survive that. If you're not very foodious, you may survive that, but they will not. Those are some of the costs you count before you even start. Like, am I able to give this person what they're looking for from the very beginning? And if I'm not able to, can we talk about it even before we start? What happens when I'm not able to give you attention? What happens when I'm not in the place to be intimate with you? What happens when I'm not very communicative? What happens when I'm going through my own things and I want to have my own space? What happens when this comes up? Or what happens when I really feel driven and pushed to do certain things and they're not things that you're comfortable with? So that by the time two people are making the decision that they're going to go forward, you generally have an idea of what threats you have and what risks you need to manage, and you make the decision then so that you do not blame each other as you go. As you go.
You know, Cutie, what CJ is describing is sort of like that ideal that all of us want to have, but do you think people know when it happens, when you get to that point where you can actually cheat on your partner or your partner cheats on you? Do you actually know and even pre-plan for it and have a conversation about, you know, when we get to this point, this is what we're going to do? Ama, huwa ina happen to. Let's talk about the real situation on the ground. Do we foresee these things sometimes so that we can have conversations prior, like what CJ is suggesting?
As I said, cheating is a personal decision because if I'm in a relationship with someone, I've already decided that I'm going to be loyal, I'm going to be trustworthy. So once I get into a relationship with someone, it means I've decided to leave every other thing, every other person, and concentrate on this one person. So when the cheating comes, it's actually a personal decision. And as CJ has said it, it's something that you might lack in that relationship. You might lack the attention. I might be married to maybe someone who is very, very busy. You know, yes, they're providing financially and all that, but I kind of feel lonely. This person is never in the house. Maybe they travel too much. They're always out there. They always come late. He's never home. So I might start feeling like I need emotional attention, intimacy. I start lacking those things. Then in my head, I just start thinking like, maybe I should get these things from someone else. It won't hurt anyone. You know, they say what you don't know won't hurt you. So that's when those thoughts start coming.
You begin to entertain certain thoughts.
You begin to entertain certain thoughts. Or it could be the other way around. You're getting the intimacy, you're getting the attention, you're getting the emotional, you're getting the time, but now you're not getting maybe the financial, you know. So now you start cheating and you're like, by the way, I need more than this. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting I'm not getting the cars. I'm not getting the pretty dresses. I'm not getting the, you know, there's something financial to it. So I might decide, you know what, I'm actually going to get someone who is going to give me
You've heard
financial
about
care.
financial cheating.
So
no, he was asking me
about the
financial cheating. Now you
that's
just
what
said
it means. So I might decide I will be with this other person because they provide money for me. But I really love my husband. My husband loves me. He's here for me, but he's not providing financially. You see, so it could be either way. It could be he's providing financially. I go look for emotional, or he could be providing. It could be either way. So it's a personal decision that you start thinking about. There are thoughts that come into your head, you know. So it's actually, I wouldn't say pre-planned per se, but I'll say it's something that you think about, you digest it, and you actually, when you start doing it, it's a personal decision. You just don't wake up and meet with someone. When you meet with someone and you start flirting, that's a decision that you're already making. Because why are you entertaining this other person? Yet you know you have already committed to another person. So cheating is a personal decision, and there's no excuse for cheating.
Let me ask you candidly, because I know some people would want to ask this question.
Yes.
Do you think it's like 100% on the shoulder of that person who is cheating, or in certain instances, and I'm not justifying cheating in any way, get me right, in certain instances, there are things that even that person who is, like, say, the victim in this relationship would do to sort of create an environment or enable someone to start even entertaining thoughts of cheating, or
but the thing
become
is,
vulnerable to cheating.
But you see, the thing is, Safin, if you're not satisfied with what you have, why don't you walk away from it? I know it's not as easy as it sounds, like walking away from a relationship, walking away from a marriage, but I keep on saying there's a reason why people get married. I believe so. I believe there's a reason why someone will propose to me and I say yes to them, because this is a lifetime commitment, Safin. I mean, marriage is a lifetime commitment. Relationships, you are committing to someone. So if you're not going to live with this someone the way they are, if they're not providing for you the things that you like really actually want them to, then I mean, you should just walk away. If this person is not satisfying me, whether it's financially, emotionally, mentally, or in any other way, why don't you just walk away? Because you can't, I feel like it's an excuse when people say, but you triggered me, but you were not there for me, but you did not do ABCD for me. Maybe I'm not able to do ABCD for you. So if I'm not able to do ABCD for you, then why don't you just, like, you know what, this is not working for me. I feel like you're not there for me, you're never home, you're never, you know, just talk to that person. And if they don't change, because I believe men change if they all want to. You cannot change a man. I cannot be there, I'm the one who is going to tame this man and change him. I believe men change. They choose. They change. For certain women, they just don't change for everyone. And if a man is serious with you, trust you me, he's not going to cheat if a man is serious with you. But if a man is not serious with you, he will do everything he wants to, and he'll just be like, she's not going anywhere, she's just going to be here. Because you've already tolerated that kind of behavior. You've already allowed him to disrespect you and do all those things. There are people who cheat, and you will never know, Safin. If a man wants to cheat, he will cheat, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if a man wants to commit 100% to you, he's going to commit, and sometimes they cheat and you will never know. Because probably they call it respect. They say, because I respect her, mama hafai kujua, unajua, mama hafai kujua hii story. So they kind of do it in a way like, I don't want to say respectfully, because hakuna kitu respectfully na kucheat, but they kind of, quote unquote, they do it respectfully. Ile yenye, mama hatawai jua anything. Yetu wako hapo, financially, emotionally, yako hapo 100%, but utampata maybe anafanya mambo zake. But what I'm trying to say is, Safin, if you feel like you cannot commit to a person, then why are you committing in the first place? Kama unafeel msee haizi kupatia hizo vitu zote zenye unataka, imagine just
ujuangi, you know, the reason I asked you that question earlier, haujuangi hata kupea hizo vitu. Mnaanzanga vizuri. Na
ndio maana kuna kitu inaitwa dating.
Mnaanzanga vizuri.
Ndio maana kuna kitu inaitwa dating.
Unafika tu huko mbele.
Unafika huko mbele unajipata provide, but ukifika huko mbele upate provide. Kwani iko cast on stone, you cannot walk away from it. Unamwambia tu. I mean, it's just a conversation you have with someone like, hey, I feel like this is not working out because you're not unifanyi kitu fulani manzi. Mimi kuna vile natakanga na nimekuambia mara mob. I've already told you, natakanga ukifika home mapema, natakanga ukiniprovideo emotional support, lakini na feel like hauko hapa emotionally. Yes, uko, but hauko, unaget. So usipoongea na wewe mse, if you don't talk to them and actually tell them what you feel and how you like, that's hapo ndio sasa hizo vitu za cheating zinakujanga, because utapata huyu mtu anaenda kutafuta. So it's an excuse when someone says, mse anifanyangi, kama akufanyangi unafanya nini hapo nae? So ishie basi, kama una feel mse ku satisfy na vitu zote zenye unataka, na hakuna ile day Safin, mse atakuwa 100%. So So when una choose kukana yeye, that's why it's called a relationship. That's why it's called a commitment, because this person can never be 100. Hauwezi pata ati mtu mwenye ako hapo financially stable, emotionally stable, mentally stable, dark, intimacy, tall, dark and handsome. Hizi tu ni story tunaona, una get. So lazima ujue kuishi na
huyo mtu. I think you can.
Zote 100%. Hauwezi pata 100.
I think you can. Anyway, usikufisha watu roho wako. They have everything. A whole package. Your bail bado iko. So
wow, bado iko. Tunango, okay, we are waiting then. Tunangoja Safin.
But how do you manage, you know, what we are discussing at that moment where you feel there are people who actually feel justified that they cheated because of, and they can cite so many things that happened in the relationship that led them to cheat. To them, it made sense. To them, it was actually the best way they could deal with whatever it is that they were going through. How do you address that person who felt they cheated because they were entitled, for lack of a better term?
You see, now, today, Cutie is the idealist.
It's actually the opposite today.
Yes, because you can imagine how many relationships you'll walk out of because there's something that is missing. Because you will find this person and that they're not financially able to do this. You meet the next person, they're not a good communicator. You meet the next person, they're not emotionally present, and that. So if you keep walking out, you will walk out of all of them. I think they're the people who stay normally way about 80 in the 20s, so they will think, okay, we have stability here. The only thing that this person lacks is this. Because even the victims themselves, the people we'd call victims, they have a logic to them staying in the things that they stay in. They'll feel, well, he is good or she's good with the kids and at least with the stability and a lot of other things. Then they feel the only thing that is missing out is this. And probably when they look at the alternatives, they see that the alternatives they may have the little thing that is missing here, but everything else is lacking. So it's very difficult. Human beings are not like machines where you'll be very predictable. And I think some of those things come also as we change, because you may have gotten into a relationship when you're 24, you are now 38, 14 years down the line, a lot of changes have happened. People have dealt with so many things that even they themselves are getting to discover themselves. But when you ask about, you know, how does somebody who feels they're justified, how do they handle that? I said in the beginning that we have certain things within us that would drive us a certain direction. So maybe I'm very communicative, which means the day I don't have the communication, I may look for it elsewhere. Maybe I have a high drive, and it means that if that is not happening, there's the propensity to do that. So those things are not completely new. They're in the substratum. They're hidden right there. Somebody has a high appetite. Somebody is very extroverted, so they want to be going out and talking to everybody out there. They're very social. Somebody is keen at having quality time. It's already in them before the partner comes in. So they are hoping that this partner will meet this thing. Those things are within us before we even meet the next person. So by the time I'm going into it, this is why I say the conversation should be, and in the dating that Cutie is talking about, the conversation should be whether you can provide this and whether I can provide what you need. So that as we go into it, if I realize that you're not communicative, but I like communication, and then I make up my mind still to come into it with you, I should never blame you for not communicating, because I have already seen and understood that that is not your strength. If I realize that you're not so much into the intimacy, and I have a high drive, but I like all the other qualities around you, and I decide to come in, it would be unfair for me to blame you after 5 years that you're not providing this. You knew that that was coming. So even the justification raises the questions of how much did I know about this person? Because sometimes there's a part of what Kitty is saying that is true about the personal decision. There's a part of it that is, I think, greater than that. There are people who genetic modification has issues on them as well. There are, you know, it's just like you cannot deal with all alcoholics the same.
True.
There's the one who literally you'll even take to a rehab and the thing is a battle. They want to get out of it and it's really a battle. There's another one who just chooses. that I'm stressed, let me go and drink. Then they keep on doing that. If they choose today that they want to stop drinking, they will stop drinking. They have that power. So I think, again, you've got to pick up these people, like, what exactly is driving this person? Is it their ability, their choices, or is there something that needs a different intervention? Because you know that even when it comes to the various addictions, and even people who are addicted to, for example, the blue screen, some people need a whole rehabilitation to get out of that, because no matter how much they try, it becomes difficult.
By themselves.
So I think it is a thing of weighing, like, this person that you are with, is this a condition? Is this a decision? And if I am with somebody and then they're doing certain things that I feel are triggering me, if they're doing certain things that are triggering me, I need to talk about that. I need to keep talking about that and say, look, you know that I love this. So that's what Kitty was talking about. You know that I love this. I love quality time. I love cuddling. I love being touched. I love being hugged. I love somebody spending time with me. I love it that when you're talking to me, you put aside your phone. I want you to come to bed without your phone or something. You know that I love that. Have the conversation. Then see where that will lead before you can even get to the place of saying, you know, I did this because you did this. But some of those people, literally, they feel justified. And they feel justified because they feel the other person knew these were my needs and they ignored them.
They ignored.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I'm getting from this is that conversations and communication and having those candid conversations is really key. Talking about your needs, expressing them in the most sincere way that you can, and this person taking that deliberate effort to meet you halfway at least, or do something to address those needs, is very important. That is one way to prevent your partner or your spouse from cheating. But then let's talk about, QT, earlier you said you cannot forgive. Like, that one is a no-no for you. It's a deal breaker. I remember the other time we're talking about deal breakers.
Yes.
But we've seen trends of so many people who forgive and cheating and they've moved on, like, and relationships that have become even better after cheating. I don't know how that works. You know, we're talking about weighing 80 and 20. Would you be in that space where you're looking at, okay, Sawa, it is the first time, and he's a good provider, he's a good father, there's a lot to lose to invest pamoja, kuna
This
biashara.
includes she also in that.
No, I'm speaking for someone here. I mean, would you be in that space and start, you know, sort of to rethink?
Safin, in this life, you choose your struggle in everything, not just in relationships. Even in life, you decide which struggle you're going to deal with. You decide if it's this mental struggle, if it's this emotional struggle. You choose your struggle in this life. And as I say, every choice has a consequence. So whatever it is you decide to deal with, for me personally, I said I can't deal with cheating because I feel like it's disrespectful. For me, cheating is disrespectful in the first place, because why would you go ahead and do that, you know? Like, I'm here, like, hello, you can't see me, you can't feel me, you know? Yeah. Like, I feel like it's disrespectful. That's why I'm saying, for me, I can't forgive it. And I've been there before, and the minute you forgive that cheating, it's like you're allowing this person to go and do that again. And as I said before, men will always change when they want to. A man will change, yes, but it's his own decision, and he will change for the woman that he wants to change for. You get? They just don't change for anyone. They change for the woman. Kuna ule atasema, mi udem na kwa gatu nimemkufa. Udem ndo rataka kwe mama, you know. But kama akona mtu mwingine and he's just wasting time, then he will never do that for her, you know. So mimi personally, struggle yangu mimi nimeamua haiwezi kuwa ni cheating. Wacha tuongelele. Let's talk about other things in the relationship. Let's talk about 50-50 financially. That one I can deal with. But when it comes to cheating, because you can never recover from cheating. Sometimes it means that trust has been broken. So next time, even when this person, maybe when you find out, you know, we love snooping the phone and all that, and that gets us in trouble. But when you start going through the phone,
you will find what
you're looking for. And when you start looking at, okay, on this date, he told me he was where with the boys watching a game or something, but he was with her. So you'll start thinking, every other time he says, I'm with the boys, I'm watching football, I'm working late. And the day that he told you he's working late, you'll go back to the records and remember, this day he told me he's working late. So going back to that trust, building that trust, they say trust takes time to build, but trust, to break trust, it only takes just like, you know, like a day, like a second, you know. Once that trust is broken, going back to that Safin, forgiving cheating goes back a long way, because you'll always be like, I don't believe he's working late. I don't think he's with the boys. Why do I want to live with that kind of fear?
But would you then say that you have actually forgiven? Because my understanding of forgiving is you like, unaachilia hiyo maneno, like wachana nayo. You don't move into the future and you start.
You can forgive,
looking for those things,
but again. You can't forget. There's a difference of forgiving. You can forgive, yes, someone. You can be like, fine, I forgive you, but I don't want you to sit on my table. You just sit over that table. Like we can't. You know, Safin, like I can decide, okay, I forgive you. We can be friends and all that, but we are not going back to that relationship. You know, because once he does that, what about the second time he does it? Are you going to forgive that second time? You forgive the second time, he will do it the third time and the fourth time, because he's like, you know, there are people who are like that. They take advantage of your kindness. You know, they're like, see, she's going to be here. Where is she going? She's never going. Ama he's not going anywhere. Ananihitaji kwa life yake. Hawezi niacha. Anamfanyanga ABCD. And that's why we find ourselves selling ourselves short. And Safin, you should know your value and add tax. You remember that conversation we had in the makeup room?
Please don't say that.
I won't say that, but you should know your value and actually add tax on it. So
you guys are giving me a difficult time playing the devil's advocate, but I'll just do it anyway. CJ, explain to us, do we have moments whereby you need to sort of rethink before you drop the ball? Before you let go this person, okay, they've cheated, they've made the mistake. And the reason you're forgiving is because I assume they are remorseful. You can't forgive somebody who is out there going about doing the same thing, like bado anaendelea kucheat. This person, I believe you're forgiving them because they're back, they're remorseful, they're asking you for another chance. Do you have those moments where, is it even advisable to begin thinking, and what are the principles that you're supposed to look out for before you make that decision of allowing this person back into your life?
See, actually most part of my life, not most, but a good part of my life, I spent trying to get people not to leave each other.
Good. So we are talking to the right person.
Yeah, because I think dropping the ball is the easiest thing. And there's no guarantee that you're not going to drop it again. So just the same way you'd say the person who cheats this time will keep on cheating, you'll walk and you'll keep on walking. So what does that do to you as well? Either emotionally or socially, you'll never learn how to build something and work through and grow through something. But generally, I think that there are people who get into spaces. Now, let me talk about the different kind of people that you actually will deal with. You'll meet somebody who expects that their partner will not be faithful. In their mind, they have said, every woman is like this, or every man is like this. So when that happens, they don't think it's a big deal, as long as the person is doing other things. You'll meet the other person who is like QT, who is like, I cannot forgive this. You'll meet somebody else who will ask for commitment. Like, I am very hurt, I'm wounded, but I'm willing to work it out if this person is willing to work it out. So even those situations produce different kind of people. So if you meet somebody who just expected that to happen and they really don't care, it may not be a big issue. Because I have sat with people who say, I wish you would tell me. And they actually will bring in the tools to protect the person from the only thing they're worried about is their health. Like if you can take care of his health,
that's okay,
then I'm fine. Then you find somebody else who is there and is like, okay, let it just be one person and I need to know so that it's not too many people coming in. Then you'll find somebody else who completely will not forgive, and that becomes the end of it. And you can't blame them as well, because probably their partner knew that was going to happen. Then you find somebody else who feels, I think I made this person do this. So they bear part of the blame. Now you have to walk around them. Then there's the one who is wounded and they say, I can forgive if this person is willing to work it. So generally, let me talk about then the last case that we normally would want to know. My first question would be, do you want to have this relationship? Because there's no need, even with the offender, there's no need to be talking about this if the person who even went to cheat is trying to destroy this relationship. Are they trying to, do they want it? Do they value it? Do they want to stay here? I had a gentleman and a woman come. These guys were, the man is in his 50s, very senior in one of the government organizations. They're very loaded. Built a massive house, quite some amount, and this man was a habitual, you know, every weekend he's out. So they would have a lot of issues around that. So at one point, the woman got to catch him because his phones were off completely. She used her DCI connections because they were very oiled.
Okay.
And then they got to trace where the person was. So
DCI,
yeah, and got to trace. And at some point, to get to realize this guy is actually having multiple partners, and they dragged him. They literally just dragged this man and took away with over $40,000.
Wow.
That's how much the guy would be going with. So this woman became suicidal, literally, because she also walked into him in a certain place and she said, with the money and the status that you have, wouldn't you go to something higher? Because now he's going to the cheap lodgings and stuff like that. And she was walking away. But then it hit the man, because that was the first time he was caught red-handed. All the other ones were circumstantial. And it hit the man that he was actually losing his marriage, and the woman had bought another house, and she had ordered for furniture from the US to move out. She's not renting. So this guy's money is not a problem. They walked, they came, we started having a conversation. I had a lot of sessions with these people. The woman was literally suicidal, in depression. And the first question is, do you want to keep this marriage or lose it? Would you want to give it a try? Now, that's about 4 years, 5 years ago. I can tell you literally, the man changed. We did the work with him, had conversations. We were talking about so many things. One time we were having breakfast. It's a Saturday morning in a hotel, and he breaks down and he cries. And the lady later asked me, do you think it's genuine? I said, you know your husband better than I do. But I know
people who cry crocodile tears. Let's also...
well, Safin...
But for this case, it was genuine.
I meet different people. I'll tell you whether that is crocodiles. So I said, listen, I know that you know your husband better.
Yeah.
But I also know it is difficult for a man in a public place. If the wife was there, you can tell me about the crocodile tears.
Yeah.
This is a whole different setting. And I say, I don't know. But I think that he really wants to get out of this. So we worked out for them to travel and spend some time together. It is nearly 5 years. That case has never come up again. That's why I do believe in people changing. I don't believe in the thing that, you know, somebody could have gone through something for a while. But you see, change is also progressive. I can start thinking now that I need to stop smoking. But it will take me like 6 years before I eventually stop the smoking. So that's why I say there's condition and there's decision. There's the one where I just feel like it's cold, give me a cigarette, let me smoke. There's the other one where I'm actually trying to stay away from that thing, but I'm getting it. So it also depends on the support systems that people have. Basically what I'm saying is, if people want to work it out, if the person who has the challenge in staying faithful feels like they want to work it out, they seek help. They seek to be accountable. They begin to communicate better. You don't stay offline or off your phone and nobody knows where you are. If you're going to stay late, say, hey, I think I'll be coming in at about 10. I'm with so-and-so and so-and-so in this place. Be more open and more proactive in giving the information. Don't wait for the information to be asked from you because you're trying to win the trust of this person. You've lost their trust. So now it is up to you to build it. It is up to you to make sure your things are open.
Right.
Your phone is over there. You're not picking calls outside of the house. You're not speaking in low tones. You're not meeting strange people. You're not doing all that. So you bring yourself to the place of openness and still, even with that, allow this other person to process their pain. Don't expect that just because now you said yesterday, I'm changing, so today you feel like they'll not have things.
Like nothing happened.
Yeah, sometimes they may get back into the place of acting somehow, but you need to reassure them On the flip side, if you see somebody trying to make a change, don't keep on reminding them of what they did.
But then just to address QT's principle that if you allow the first time and you forgive, it's like a ticket that it will happen again.
I think
don't allow it. It's a no.
You see, again, those now personal deal breakers that people have. So for QT, that may be the personal deal breaker. But as I said, we've seen a lot of people who have come out of that as well. There are others who did not. There are others who've been able to. Sometimes somebody just grows to a place and say, you know what, I've done this too much. I'm messing up my family, I'm messing up my finances, I'm messing up myself, I'm tired. I just want to get out of this. And that can happen both with cheating, with how they spend money, gambling, alcohol. Somebody just gets to a place and thinks about how their behavior reflects on everybody else and how they had them. And they actually just make their decision and say, I'm not going to do this again. And they get out of it. So I am of the opinion that, give people chances to prove themselves that they're getting better.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. QT, I want you to react to that. And you're also expecting to sample some of your feedback just after this comment by QT, just to get to hear also what you have to say. We are asking you so many things, including whether you can forgive a cheating partner or a cheating spouse. Is it something that you can forgive? And if yes, why, just give us your thoughts and even on the conversation that we have been having. But before we do that, QT, give somebody a chance. What do you say about that? You've had even the example he has given.
I actually want to jump on that example and say, you see, the way he has put it, it's actually the way I'm saying, a man will change for the woman that he wants to change for. He's clearly put it like, the guy wanted to change, he's so like, I'm losing this woman and this woman is everything. So that's why I've said, men change for the women that they want to. A man will change if he wants to, but what I'm trying to say is you can't force someone. And then also on that example, what I was saying is that you know your person best. You know your man best. You know your woman best. You know when they're sincere. Deep down in your heart, we keep on saying, you'll go ask for advice. I can go to CJ and have all these conversations, but at the back of my head, at the back of my mind, I know this guy is not being sincere or this guy is being sincere. That's why we're saying when you're getting to know someone, don't skip the dating part. You need to know this person better. You need to have these conversations like, okay, right now we are building together. So will you be able to be doing A, B, C, D? We are moving in together. Will you still be paying the rent? Ask those questions, because if you don't ask the questions, you're going to move in with someone and then they won't pay rent because they're like, but you work at Citizen, you're an independent woman, you got your money.
And you never said you're not okay with it.
And I didn't say I'm not okay with it, but you should ask these conversations like, if I move in with you, if we are getting married, will you still be doing this? Will you be paying the children's school fees? Will you be providing food? These are conversations that we need to have during the dating stage. And I know if I'm dating someone, I sincerely know when you're talking to them, if you've dated someone for at least a year or two, you will know if they're being sincere with you or if they're lying to you. So if he's there defending himself and he's like, but babe, you're the one who did this, but babe, he'll go back there. But when he's sincere, he's like, by the way, he'll come to you and say, this is ruining our marriage, this is ruining our relationship. It's actually the way the man comes up to you. But if I'm the one who has to be asking the questions, okay, so why did you cheat? You're just there like, I don't know. Why are you asking me? Why do you want to know? It's the way also your partner approaches you. It's the response that they give you. So if I go and ask him, why did you cheat? Why did you do this and this and this? So the way he responds will also deal with that. But as CJ said, everyone has their own personal deal breakers. So for me, that's a deal breaker. I still stand with
your principle.
Yeah.
Let's get to sample what you are sharing with us on our SMS platform as well. We want to hear your thoughts, whether you can be able to forgive cheating and anything that we have discussed here. Does it resonate with you? And this is what you're saying on SMS. And we have one there from Nelly from Kitale, 1 year in marriage now. Nilikuwa na hiyo shida ya cheating, even ika up wakapata mtoi. But the thing I learned is I won't run from the problem. I usually go for it. Nilipambana na hali yangu, hadi sahi alichange. Tunaenda church na mpoa sana. Amen. All right, another one here is saying, why would a woman forgive cheating easily than a man would do? Is cheating allowed more in men than women? All right. There's one there saying, no, you have to trust each other. Cheating leads to heartbreak. All right, hello, I'm in marriage whereby my husband keep on cheating with ladies. When I tell I'm not interested with that habit, ananisho nimtege, kindly help me. All right, nimtege. I want to say that cheating on your partner, that is a criminal offense. Afungwe jela. Okay, Ben White from Homa Bay. The relationship is affected by money and beauty, and this makes it difficult for relationships to last. George Chuma, you say cheating is not bad. Sometimes we are driven by external forces. George, okay. Reverend Koi from Kilifi, cheating in marriage is greediness. Reverend Koi from Kilifi. Leroy from Kisii, my opinion, I think when a partner cheats, the relationship can never be the same. And when marriage is involved, it even affects the children, the kids. All right. Once you forgive a cheating partner, they will take advantage of your forgiveness and choose to cheat again. That is what QT was saying. Never, never. For me, I cannot forgive a cheating partner. All right. All right. So those are some of the, we were sharing with you. I wish you could react on those, but unfortunately, we don't have time. We really appreciate you creating time for us this morning. We hope you've learned something. And I like the fact that we have majored on how to even prevent or avert cheating. That is the most crucial thing. But even after that has happened, of course, you have to weigh your options and also see the sincerity and the genuineness that this person is coming with on that table as you negotiate to restart that journey again. Of course, we'll do this again next Tuesday. Do join us for another session here on Daybreak. My name is Safina Chengauma. Always a pleasure to do this for you. But for now, it's a wrap. Have a lovely day ahead.